चालू हो गया यूजुअली ये टाइम पे अभी बन रही होती है.
Are you sure we are live? I can't see it on the
We are.
channel. Okay.
Yep. Audio check is also good. Trying to share the link, not in points table, please. YouTube channel. Alright, hello and welcome everyone to the Indian Racing League Season 12 race around Qatar, Lusail. It's under the moonlight, it's under the floodlights as well. And joining me in the comms box once again, it's always a pleasure, Malav. How are you, Malav?
Hello, Chips. It's been a long week work-wise, so always glad to wind down with some Formula One action, and we are back. And it's in a track which I think I think when the track layout was published or released, I think there were a few people who were not huge fans because let's face it's not the prettiest track layout to look at. But I think racing wise, especially in league racing where dirty air is not that pronounced, I think should be a fun track to race at, and you can see the Mercedes already stamping that authority on the field with a provisional 1-2, although only 6 people have set that lap time so far. But what an interesting end to the season, Chips. It's so neck and neck between the top three, and I would like you to then apprise our audience about the situation in the points table.
Absolutely. So, as it stands at the end of Las Vegas, the previous round, the two Mercedes drivers are neck and neck at the top. Nothing separates them. 0 points separate them. They're both at 151 points, and behind them is the Williams of Nupshan at 150 points. So there is 1 point separating the top three. There are, I believe it's 26 points on offer for both races. That makes 52 points up for grabs. However, these three will have tough competition from the likes of Natsume, Vifix, and many others as well. I think even Caesar would be in the equation here. It's gonna be an amazing battle, especially Mercedes have already wrapped up the constructors, so there's nothing to fight for over there. I think is Williams in the mix? I think Williams may be in the mix for the
No, actually they are not. So Mercedes wrapped up the
for
constructors in the last race. So
no, for P2.
congratulations.
Williams are fighting for P2.
Oh, for P2, okay, my bad. They might be,
They
although
are.
it's usually only Noobshan who has been racing.
Yeah, that's the trouble. Is the other Williams? I think it's Smith. He's not been able to make too many races.
Yeah. So the Haas boys have caught up. Only 5 points separating Williams and Haas, and I think by the end of the season, Haas might just clinch P2.
I think they will. Given that I don't think either of these drivers were full time at the start of the season. That's quite remarkable. Ethan, of course, winning the last race in Vegas. So I think this is it's a certainty that we are expecting it for Haas to take P2 in the standings. I don't think Nupshan on his own would be able to put up a fight against these two, because these two have been really strong over the course of the season. Ethan and
especially they have been strong in race pace, and they have been smart, especially Ethan, when it comes to managing pace and penalties. So I think I would agree with you as Abhishek's. I don't know what he's doing. Oh, yeah, he just dashed into the pits.
Wow.
But that was a weird line he took before he entered the pit lane. Yeah, Rahul and Suraj, as expected, are top two. Suraj, by the way, maximum poles this season, I think, has 3 poles. Sorry, 4 poles, my bad, versus 2 for Rahul. But in terms of wins, and which is why you can see Rahul at the top of the table, they are neck and neck in terms of points. But Rahul has 3 wins, and Suraj, without a single win this season, you can say still leading the championship and obviously very much in contention.
He's been incredibly consistent, Malav. That's the thing. He's got a lot of podiums this season.
Yeah. plenty of podiums, and uh, yeah, it would be interesting to see who
Nupshan's,
comes out on top.
yeah. I think
And
Nupshan's
see, the thing
consistency has
about,
fallen off a little bit in these past few races
yeah, the
compared to
past few
what he had.
races he hasn't. I think he hasn't also made smart decisions. Like in Vegas, I expected him to pit when everyone else did, but he stayed out along with Yash Kusalia, and he lost a lot of points. I think he could have probably been one of the drivers who could have had a decent top five finish, and had he had that, Chips, he would have been leading the table right now. So Nuksan in the past few races hasn't been at the top of his game, but yeah, there's literally nothing separating these drivers. So anything can happen, and I also want to see what Mercedes do, because it has been very civil so far between them. They haven't really been fighting each other. They've been helping each other, in fact, to kind of tow themselves away from the rest of the field. But now that they have the constructors wrapped up, and anything that they do is only for themselves. So I
I think
am
this
really
is
looking forward to the battle between the Mercedes, which we really haven't seen so far this season.
I think this is where the gloves will come off between these two. We've
Yeah.
actually, you're right, we've seen them be very civil with one another. They've been really helpful towards one another. As Ethan goes up to P3, I wasn't able to see the standings there because of the comments on popping up on my screen. But yes, Ethan with a decent lap. I think he has it in him to do a little bit, go a little bit quicker. Let's see the likes of Vifix out on a lap. What about Sume? Sume's on an out lap, and I saw Noopshan on a, yeah, he was on an out lap. Now he has just started his first flying lap, I believe, of the night, and ahead of him is the Kick Sauber. I'm not sure who that is. That may be Abdul Samad. That is Abdul Samad. There's only one Kick Sauber, and he has invalidated Noopshan. Yeah.
Yeah, that's dirty air from the Sabre. So I think both the Mercedes are on a lap. Rahul has just started one. Suraj is down on his time, I believe. At least in the first sector he was.
He's
So,
just started his lap
oh,
now.
he's just starting a lap. My bad.
Oh wait,
And I
he's
think
finished his
Rahul.
lap. I think he's finished a lap because look at his battery. It's really low. While I think Rahul has just started his lap.
Yeah, Rahul might have just started a lap. And once again, Mercedes out in tandem. So you can see Suraj ahead of Rahul on track. And Rahul just going wide there and has invalidated.
We fix up the P2.
Yeah,
So
VFX. It's very close, by the way, 5 thousandths of a second between VFX and Rahul. So this is going to be a close quali, I believe, as the Haas of URL Ethan. I don't know which McLaren it was. I think there's only one on track.
yeah, that's Sumer.
Not
Yeah.
Sumer. And I think he either might have impeded Ethan, or maybe I don't think Ethan was an in lap. So I think that probably was Sumer impeding Ethan. But either way, I think Sumer just started a lap. Chips, you want to take us through this one, because this could be a good one from Sumer.
Try to. Yep, I'll try it. I don't know my corner numbers here, but I believe this is turn 3, the right-hander. Now going up towards, I believe it's going to be turn 4, so forgive my corner numbers if I get them wrong. This is a very tricky section actually. I've never been able to master this. I think we've done about 2 races here in F123. I've never been able to master this. This turn is infamous for certain drivers. I think one of them is racing tonight as well. So those who know, that's just the thing I'm going to leave them with. But yeah, this right-hander is going to be leading up towards another hairpin. I believe there's a kick sauber that's Abdul Samad ahead. That should not be an issue for Sumer like it was for Nupshan. Now we are approaching this triple right-hander. This is one of the places where you can very easily invalidate your lap and just throw it all away if you're not careful enough, trying to take the shortest possible route to the next part of the track. But he navigates it well. Sumer and Abdul, he's actually close on Abdul significantly in just this little section. Abdul may move out the way there. Even if he was on lap, I don't think it really mattered there, because Sumer was just catching at the rate of knots and he's driving into the pits. Sumer comes up to the line and he will go P1. That is a significant improvement ahead of Rahul. So, wow, that's a great lap.
That is a stonking lap from Sumer, and I think he might have lost half a tenth to maybe a tenth behind Abdul. Yeah. He caught up Abdul at the wrong time. Not exactly impeding, but it definitely maybe wasn't ideal for Sumer to catch him there. But either ways, Sumer, I believe he won a race as well on his return. I don't know where he did that.
He did. I think he did.
I want to say Mexico. Yeah, that was Mexico. I just checked the points table.
Mexico, yeah.
yeah, let's not count him out at all, and he might have something to say about this championship fight when it comes to taking points off the people who are fighting for it. Basil, by the way, is on a lap as
Yep.
well, and he has a track, or at least the second and third sector, all to himself when he's navigating his horse, and is right
Sliding
now
around there, yeah.
doing purple sectors if the game is to be believed. So, but I don't know if
Don't believe the game.
yeah.
Not usually the most reliable
And
source
is
of information.
and is almost out of battery when he did that, but across the line he goes,
He goes
and
up to
it is
P6.
going to be P6 joining his teammate on the third row of the grid.
So there's a significant buffer between P5. It's Ethan and Quick Killer is what I actually wanted to say. So I think that's a few. Is that? Would you say it's like different races for these people now? Like, I think the top 5 or top 6 may be effectively in a race of their own. I think as we saw
Yeah,
in Vegas as well,
you could say
they just
that,
run
but I
away.
expect
Yeah.
yeah, you could say that I expect the likes of Abhishek and Caesar to at least fill that gap, if not qualify higher.
Yeah.
So let's see when that happens. Caesar is on an outlap. Abhishek's still in the pits, but yeah, the gap which I wanted to mention is at the top. It's more than 3 tenths between Sumer and Rahul, and Rahul's second lap was not an improvement. So both the Mercedes did not have a great second run. Now they have one more run to go, and this is crucial
I
for
think,
Rahul to at least be on the front row, if not take pole position.
when do you expect drivers to come out onto the track, Malav? Because we have just over 3 minutes left in the session, so it's imperative that they come out quick. And actually, it's all about timing your run perfectly. You don't want a slow car ahead of you, which may affect your lap, give you dirty air, or impede you inadvertently. So I think there's a lot of
Yeah, I
factors at
think
play
if
here.
the latest you would want to leave is maybe exit the pit lane when there are 2 minutes
So
left.
yeah,
That gives you a 40.
I think two
Sorry,
minutes
that
would
gives
be
you.
putting
Yeah,
it a
but
little
it's
too
very
close. Yeah.
touch and go. And then if you want to create certain gaps, it's okay to probably go out now. You will still be kind of out of sync with the rest of
I
the
think,
field.
Malav, I think Basil has call time. I don't think he'll be able to come back out on track now. So that is the
It's
best he could do.
Bass's.
I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah,
it's
I think so.
timed
That's
well if he wanted to
poorly
go
done.
another round. Yeah.
And again, the game is, yeah, it doesn't let you. It puts the tire blankets on, for God's sake, when
Yeah.
you come back into the pits. So it's very unintuitive, I would say. Caesar is on a lap,
Yep.
and he's 3 seconds up on his first and second sector time. But again,
I
that's
think that will
just
still get him just
not.
close to Abhishek's, who's yeah. It's. I think
Yeah,
his lap was on
so
intermediates, Caesar. So
yeah, it was. It was this
let's have
not
a
a
look at
representative that
what he can
time.
do.
Maybe top
P8.
10. Yes,
So
P8.
he's in the mix there. He is actually slotted in between Quick Killer and Falcon, which is a very, it's very competitive between those two right now, the two Red Bulls. Falcon, yeah, I haven't seen him for a while. He was a championship contender at the start of the season, so I don't.
Yeah, and season 5 champion, remember.
Yeah,
So
of course.
let's see what he can do. He's in P9 right now. And talking about Noobshan, when we talk about championships, because he's in a fight right now, I think this is a conscious call by him to. Is this a conscious call by him to not even set a lap time until the last? Is this set?
It's a gamble, Malav. That's a very risky gamble because at best he's going to start P15 at this rate. It's a very odd strategy decision. It's leaving yourself
Well,
vulnerable, very much
I think
so.
Azun is in probably in the party chat with him, and it's the infamous Azun strat to not qualify at all and then start from the back and watch the chaos unfold
Thing is,
in
he
front of
will
him.
have traffic ahead of him now, whether he likes it or not. So even if he's quicker, so there's a there's a Mercedes coming up behind him. So yeah, I think he's left himself enough room to the car ahead.
Has he gone out
Yeah.
there just to mess with the Mercedes?
Has he? Because who is that Mercedes behind him? Is it Rahul?
I
It
mean,
is
it
I am
doesn't
Rahul.
matter. It doesn't matter which Mercedes. Both Mercedes are in a fight with him.
It is.
Sumer has started a lap, by the way, and I
Yep.
don't know if he has crossed the first sector split yet.
He is just about to, and he's up
And
by
he's up half a
not
tenth.
by much, but half a tenth is still an improvement. That's really remarkable. I would actually like to see his improvement in the final sector. That's where he was. I think he's lost the chunk of his time. I think the
Keep an
final
eye
cars
out
have
on
crossed the
Rahul
line.
as well.
Yeah. Nobody else can start a lap unless that Alpine can get to the line in time. I think that would be Abhishek. I don't think that is going to be the case. The checkered flag drops and Abhishek has not made the lap, or has he? Or am I making a mistake?
Sumer,
I
by
think
the way,
that's
just
yeah.
matching his time. Rahul is up by 300s only in the first sector. What
Sumer's
about Suraj?
lost some time, yeah.
Suraj a couple of tenths up on the second sector.
It's crucial for
And
Sumer to get a nice run through here because I think that will show his true potential, what he had. Coming up to the line, not Sumer, DRS will be open and he will improve his time, not by much, 2/100ths of a second. That's still an improvement nonetheless. Rahul's up by a tenth. What about Suraj? Suraj invalidated, he cannot improve. What about VFix? VFix is up by a tenth, he's in the first sector. Rahul is approaching the final turn. So this is going to be crucial. Can Rahul, has he managed to do enough to use up not Sumer? We'll find out in a moment. Rahul crosses the line and it is gonna remain P2 for I am Rahul. What about VFX?
by the way, on
He's
a
improved
stalker, and let's
significantly.
not
Yeah,
discount Ethan as well. Ethan is about to
Ethan's right
finish
behind
his
him.
lap
Yeah.
and might just
Oh.
get Suraj there.
He moves up to P2
P2
ahead of Rahul. What about VFX though?
Yeah.
He could get P2 here. He could even get P1. He goes P2, just over a tenth behind Natsume. That is super close and quick killer of the last car. I couldn't see the final standings, but there you go. Right at the end there, VFX pulling out a lap to get P2. Malav, in all this, did you notice when Nupshan finished?
Yeah, I think he was P7 or P8.
P8, yeah, that's
P8,
P8.
yeah, there you go. So Nupshan did manage a decent lap after all, and I want to say he really wouldn't have gotten much higher than that.
Yeah.
So I think he's played it smart. He's used just one set of softs and has saved the others for the race. While I don't think he will use a lot of soft tires on this track. This track just eats tires for breakfast. But yeah, Chips, maybe take us through the quali results.
Well, I don't think there's time for that, Madhav. So we have
I just saw hardly 5 seconds left when I dropped that bomb on you. But yeah, not somewhere on the pole again, and VFix in P2. This has given me season 5 flashbacks yet again. Neither of the drivers fighting for the championship, but
Is that
what
the
a cracker of a
infamous
season
clip
that
with
was.
Azun at Russia? Is that the same one?
Oh yeah,
that same
that's the
season?
same season.
Yeah.
Yeah, same season. I wish we had
IRL.
Qatar in that season. That would have been a lot of fun.
IRL
These
lore
two.
will repeat itself at some point. As I see Noopshan's teammate is Logan Sargent, so that is amazing. The realism and the accuracy of these games. You have to love them, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a game which we love to the moon and back, and
Absolutely. We will actually be looking for the strategy decisions. Do you expect anybody to start on the softs, Madhav? Or is that too big of a gamble to take? Safety
maybe
cars are not
somewhere in the
alien over
back.
here.
I don't know.
Safety cars aren't alien here, so
Is this? I think there are large runoff areas, right? Where exactly would you crash out on this track?
there's a very specific corner where two drivers came together at the previous
I mean, yeah,
Qatar
that's.
run. So
Anyways,
we'll find out
Yeah.
in a bit, and that's lights out and they're off. It's a good start for Sumer. I think Vivek got a little better second phase of the launch, but he will not be able to do much. I think going into turn one because Sumer will have the track position for now. Further back, I see Rahul. I think has moved ahead of URL Basil, and yeah, Ethan is sticking with Vivek for the time being. Further back, I see a little bit of chaos going on. There may be a few Ajibal moments. Nopshan has had a terrible start. That's P16 is last place for him. Does he have damage, Malav? Do you think?
I don't think he has damage. I think he just got tapped by someone in an incident, and that has been the worst case scenario, I would say, for Nopshan.
Do you think it's Falcon? Because they were, I think, close together on track at the race start. So let's have a look at Nopshan for a moment. That's a cinematic camera that I don't want. I want the close up because I want to see his front wing and how the state it's in. So Malav, he does not seem to have damage from what I can see right now.
No, I don't think he has damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have damage. He just got tagged by someone, and
That's pretty unfortunate. That's the worst start I think that he could have got here, and it's left him dead last. So we have
to P16.
Vivek chasing after Natsume. This, I believe, is some classic IRL battling is about to take place here between these two. I believe these two have been championship rivals as well in the past.
Yeah, championship
So
drivers, long drawn out rivalries.
I think there's a
And
few. Some things are going to be reignited here tonight, maybe. Under the lights in Qatar. Sumit stays ahead for the time being. Further back, Falcon and Abdul are trading places, and Falcon, I think, is trying to make up after a not the greatest start, I think. So it's only two drivers on the hard tires. That's Shah and Abdul Samad. Nobody is opting for the hards, and nobody at all opting for the soft tires. That's rather understandable. Rahul, he's able to stick with Ethan for the time being. Ethan himself is not able to get too close to V6. Do you expect to have them make any rash moves with the help of DRS?
I
Rash,
don't
as in,
think
sorry, I
they need.
meant a few aggressive moves, not rash, sorry. That's the wrong term, yeah.
I think they don't really need to with the help of DRS because it's a long straight. The start finish straight. So maybe they don't need to. But you never know with these drivers. They might
Yeah,
think more short term than long term.
yeah.
By the way, Nushan is catching up rapidly to the back of this train, and
Yep.
while he has lost a lot of positions, but all's not lost yet. And it's a long race. As Abdul
Basil
Samad,
is
I think,
not
would have picked
DRS,
up a
yeah.
warning for that.
I don't think Basil
Watching
is
the
in
battle from.
TRS, so yeah. Oh, is it? Is there a battle going on for the. It's not
Yeah, it
even for
was
the
for
points
Peter.
right now, yeah.
Yeah, it was Peter. But here goes Suraj. I think Baz is gonna lose a position here as VFix takes the lead of the race.
And Suraj also gets past. So I just was about to mention that Baz does not have DRS on the main straight. Suraj may go for a move there. As the two hard runners, Shah and Abdul are trading places. But yeah, further ahead, look at Sume though. Sume is not letting Vifix breathe even for a moment here. He is keeping him honest. He's keeping him on his toes here. And he's really feisty, he's really fast. The thing about Qatar though is that despite such a long track, we have this one DRS zone. So the only realistic DRS overtakes that you can make is at turn one.
Yeah,
So sorry,
that's
straightforward
the
overtakes. I mean,
conventional
yeah.
place to overtake here. But you never know if you get a good run in one of the corners or because there are so many medium speed corners and there are a few corners where you need to be careful of where you pick up the throttle. So
Indeed.
I think Sumer and VFix are going to do their best to provide us with good entertainment for the fight of the day. And look at them, they're still kind of streaking away from Ethan despite
They are. They are.
battling.
So
And that probably shows the pace. I
I
think
think
Sumer
that
is
shows
going to
yeah,
regain the race lead before they reach turn one.
using a little bit of battery, staying in the slipstream. I think Sumer will have the move done before we get to the first turn, and I think that is what the case is going to be. Despite them battling, I think you're right. They're not losing any time necessarily to Ethan. They're just fast enough to keep trading places. But is this going to hurt them in the long term, Malav? Well, they'll keep battling.
Well,
They'll keep swapping places. That'll keep Ethan within their DRS range. So Ethan could charge up his battery, cool down his tires, and just maybe go for the offensive
yeah, I mean, if they
when they're
really
not
want to work
expecting it.
together,
Yeah.
I think they do have the pace to kind of go ahead and leave Ethan and Rahul in their wake. But I don't think
I don't think they're going to
they're
do that.
probably
Yeah.
going to prioritize
Yeah.
doing that. So I think we are in right now where top four are battling, and then Suraj will have to kind of
Suraj
catch
has a
up
task
to
ahead
the
of him. There's
leading
a
pack.
yellow flag, Malav. That's Deadly
Oh,
Mosquito.
deadly
He's had a little spin.
mosquito!
Okay, I think that's just a little spin there. So thankfully, that's not a safety car of any kind. But look who's caught back up to the pack. It's Nupshan. He is
Exactly.
P15.
Yes.
He is a long ways off the leaders, but he is making amends for that poor start, whatever's happened there. We're not too sure if he's made contact with somebody or not, but I think Abhi will not put up much of a fight against him. Yeah, Abhi just.
Be waving the white flag and letting Nuksan through. He's up into P14. I think Shah might not put up a fight either. Well, Shah does not have DRS either as Shah goes quite slow into that corner and Noob Shan is up into P13 and
Suraj losing
Suraj
3 places
has
or 2 places.
what
Was it?
was
That's
I
Abhishek's
don't know
getting
what
a
happened.
massive snap of oversteer there. He's almost lost the rear end entirely. That's forced Suraj to go wide there as Abhishek rejoined the track. So Suraj had a big task on his hands. He had 3 cars behind him, very feisty, very quick, and that's really not benefited him in the slightest. Quick Killer would have likely got a track limit extension for that little moment there. But there you go. This is a fantastic battle here. And now URL Basel leads this 4-car train. Suraj is now in
Yeah, and I don't know how Caesar has also dropped so much time. to the cars ahead.
I don't think he's
Almost
raced
a
much,
three
Malav. So
second
I think
gap
that's
there.
he's just not. I don't think he's raced much, so he's a bit rusty, I'd say. That's why he is losing so
Yeah,
much
that
time.
probably explains it. But 5 laps has gone in a jiffy.
Yep. I didn't
This,
really realize that it's lap
yeah,
5. Thank you for
exactly.
pointing that out.
Yeah, I just realized it's been 5 laps and we're starting lap 6 any second now. As V6 is gonna lead this one, and Sumer is a bit too far behind. I mean, you can still make it an overtake
Let's
because
have a look at the further behind though. Will Suraj go for the move on Baz into turn
I
one? I
think
think
he
it's a very
should.
straightforward thing to do. I think Abhishek will do the same on Quick Killer. Suraj goes ahead, and I think so will Abhishek. There you go. He makes the move on the Red Bull driver. He is now up into P7. Basil trying to battle with Suraj, but I don't think there's a lot of space there to make a move. Further back, I see Nukshan has gotten past Abdul Samad, so he is in P12. He is far cry from the points, but I think he's still making amends. There's a lot more, I think, where that's come from Nukshan. Further up, Suman Vifik still battling away.
I
I think
think
this is very
Ethan
impressive.
and Rahul have been very patient. By the way, Caesar losing another position. He lost a
Falcon,
position to
yeah.
Sonic Hawk on the main straight, and then Falcon has overtaken him as well. So Caesar not scoring any points as we speak. But Ethan and Rahul being very patient, and I think that's the right thing to do, as they're kind of letting top two do all the grunt
Thing
work,
is,
all
yeah,
the legwork
I think what they're
before.
doing, Malav, is actually the smartest thing to do right now. I think they know that if they get involved in this, they may lose time, or they may eventually inadvertently cause one of them to run away. So I think what they're doing is the smart thing. They're just waiting it out. They're biding their time. Abi gets the first penalty of the race. Vifix will go for the move once again. These two trade places, Vifix and Natsume. Further back, I see Baz going for the move. Abhishat's going for the move on Baz, and he's made it stick. What about Falcon and Sonic Hawk? Falcon's gotten ahead of Sonic in the Aston, and there you go. Suraj, I think he's trying to settle into a groove there, but the trouble for him is that those at the front, all of them have DRS. They're just running away at the moment. All of them.
Suraj is losing time. Yeah, that was a weird mix of names.
Susan.
But Suraj is losing time, I think, every lap to the top four. And right now, I think Rahul is the Mercedes who is in a much comfortable position. So,
Ethan is a
in
lot
terms
closer
of,
to Sumer Malav, if you notice, on this specific lap. So, has he picked up the pace
yeah, he
now?
is. So, might be thinking of a move, but there are still a few more corners to go. So, that distance could change. But at the same time, I'm also thinking pit stop. So I don't know. I'm assuming this is a standard one stopper with mediums to hards. So,
The trouble is, when do you
Sumer
box? Yeah.
going very wide, and I think he might have gotten a warning for that.
I think that is the case, but I think this time around Ethan may be looking to go for a move as well, not just Sumer going for the move on Vfix. Sumer will make the move, Vfix will be powerless to defend that DRS move. And what about Ethan? Will Ethan attempt a move on this lap at turn 1, maybe at turn 2, going for a cheeky little dive? He will not. Further back, I see that Abhishek has not been able to get past Suraj. I was just going to mention that. Well, so Suraj is losing about half a second each lap, Malav. I think that's on average. That's my observation. So it's about.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think it was around 4.5 to 4.7 last lap, and now it's 5 plus. And when you see next lap, if nothing happens, thing should be similar.
I think he's gaining time in the middle sector there because.
Yeah, that's because the top four are following each other.
Yeah,
but
they're
on
following
the
each
straight,
other so much. Yeah.
So I think, in a way, he doesn't have to worry about when Rahul pits because Mercedes can practically double stack on the same lap, and maybe I think they'll get away with it.
I think they can, but the trouble for Suraj is that he has to now contend with Abhi being right behind him, Abhishek, sorry. So Baz is also right there in the mix. So it's really going to be interesting to see how Suraj plays this, because he is also fighting for the championship here. Abhi is really pushing. Maybe he is wanting to go for the move at the earliest, but I think there's a little mistake there. Is that just lag on my end? Yeah, I think there's just
Yeah,
lag once
and
again.
there's going to be a change of lead
Yeah.
yet again.
Ethan is going for the move or not. Sumer is going for the move. He's gone for it, and he's moved ahead of the McLaren driver. Sumer for the first time is now down into P3, and Ethan is up into P2. Can he challenge V6, Malo?
Yeah, I think he can. Oh, Abhishek, something happened.
He's lost the rear
And
end there.
he has
Yeah.
lost
I think that's
some
the rear end.
positions. Hopefully not any part of his front
Basil
wing.
and Suraj very close. So, do you think that they came to blows? Any of them? Because they were very close as well. You were looking at the top few.
They were pretty close, but I don't think
Basil
they
very close.
actually made contact. And the gap now is almost 7 seconds. So that's a lot.
That's rather crazy. I think that's a case of maybe these three or four drivers fighting at turn one and losing a lot more time than what they ideally would have. So Suraj he's in a bit of a pickle here. The thing is to be able to be fast around you really need the DRS of another driver at all times. Ethan has not been able to close up too much to Vivix, and we have a lot of people in the chat here. Hello HVP. It's been a long time since we've seen you here in the chat. And
wow.
Azun
HVP is here.
Yeah, Azun as well.
Also a champion, I want to say. He won a championship, right?
He is. D2, right? D2 champion.
Yeah, D2.
Renault, if I'm not wrong.
Trying to recall which. Yeah, HVP, yes. I think he beat Azun for the championship. My bad. So
I think that's the case.
Definitely a champion.
Good times. Sonic Hawk in the pits.
Sonic Hawk, by the way, pits. That
Hard
is
tires.
early.
That's a very early stop. Yeah, he is season 4 D2. He's confirmed that in chat. Thanks HVP. And once again, congratulations for your championship. Very well deserved. I wasn't around to witness it. I'm assuming it was a nice battle, but I wish this battle is as interesting as that one. 3 drivers separated by 1 point. At the present moment, Malav, it looks very comfortable for Rahul. He's not making too many HD moves. He's sticking with the top 3. He's shown some great pace. Suraj, he's also in a reasonable position. I think he could still do something here. Maybe through the pit stop he could
Yellow
maybe go for
flag.
an undercut. I can't see the yellow flag actually because the oh, that's a safety. No, that's not a safety. No, sorry for that. It was prolonged on my screen. The yellow flag. Ethan will go for the move. Vifix going down the inside. Vifix can't really defend it. Will Sumer go for an opportunistic move here? Maybe sniffing a move down the inside or the outside. Ethan was a little deep into that corner, but he still made the move. But I think Vifix is coming back for more. He has the grip, but I don't think he will be wanting to go for the move here. That will disadvantage him heavily. Sumer is still in P3, so I think Sumer is also biding his time trying to recharge from battery here. What about Rahul? Do you expect Rahul to go for a move? He's seen Ethan go and get into the lead of the race. He was right. Okay,
No,
Rahul taps the back of the McLaren.
I think Rahul might just want to settle this in the pits rather than on track.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested to see when these people decide to pit. And speaking of D2 champions, we have Raman in the chat as well. Hello, Raman.
Yep, hello, Raman.
Baz apparently has wing damage, which I don't. It's not apparent on the stream, but if Azun is to be believed. But speaking of pit stop tips, I'm assuming lap 13, 14 is when they will start thinking of one.
That's a reasonable assumption, Madhav. I think that's around where we can expect to see some people pit. However, there may be an undercut for one of these guys in the top 4. If they're so close, they may as well try to go for the opportunistic move. There you go.
On cue. Vfix.
There you go. Thanks, Vfix. Thank you. That is the insider information thanks to me. As another driver pits, that's URL Basil. I think he's in the pits as well. So Vfix is going for the move, going for the undercut, sorry, and he's going to go for a set of hard tires, no doubt about it. Vfix, let's have a look at Basil's front wing. I think Malav, you can have a look at that while I just see where Vfix rejoins. Will he join ahead or behind Caesar? I think he's going to be just behind Caesar. Will he actually lose a place to Noob Shana as well? So these two will work in tandem. I'm sure of that. They're likely in the same party chat, Noob Shana and Vfix. But I think Noob Shana will not pose much of a be much of an
No, in
obstacle
fact,
probably.
Nupshan might want to get dragged along by VFX.
Yep.
Suraj now 9 seconds adrift. I am Rahul.
He should pit, Malav. He should pit. That is, I feel, the
Yeah,
correct decision to
Suraj
make.
should definitely pit. And by the way, no front wing change for Basil. So either he did not inform his team, or maybe Azun was just capping
But yeah,
that he in fact has wing, or maybe
Azul,
it's just minimal wing
Azul,
damage.
yeah, that may be just a minimal wing
But
damage as well.
let's keep an eye out on the
Let's
top
have a look at
three.
the top
And
three. Yeah, correct. I don't think any of them are gonna pit. So Rahul is losing the DRS. He's on the fringes of getting DRS at this point in time. So he may pit. So he doesn't. Okay, never mind. Abhishek's with the penalty, all right, and Rahul just about has DRS. I think Suraj is gonna box this lap. He should, and he does. Oh, three other cars are gonna follow him into the pit lane. Both Red Bulls, and that's Quick Killer with a huge lockup. That's almost a drift there. But the trouble is his teammate Falcon and Quick Killer have come into the pits at the same time. Falcon will have to stack. So it's hard as no doubt about it. And that's a that's a very interesting pit entry for all of them. Four drivers came in simultaneously. Noopshan has also decided to come into the pit lane. He will bolt on a set of fresh, hard tires, no doubt about it. Unless he's going for something cold. Yeah,
I
no,
don't
hard
understand
tires.
why Falcon. I mean, probably he got the message pretty late that Quick Killer was in
Yeah.
the pits as well. But
That was a very odd
yeah,
series of
that's
events there.
yeah. But four cars in the pit lane, you don't really get to see it. But yeah, Rahul, I think
One of
has
the
now caught up back into
thing
this.
is
I
now,
think
yeah, go for it, go for it.
yeah, I think probably a good decision by Rahul to stay out and
It is,
keep keep hogging DRS while he can.
but
By the way, Suraj does overtake Abdul, who's
they're
on
still
much
side by
older
side.
tires.
He's actually battling him, Abdul Samad. Oh, there's been contact. Abdul's hand was raised in the air. Quick Killer's now right beside Suraj. That may be a bit troublesome for the Mercedes driver, and he's had to give up the place to Quick Killer. Abhi has retired in the pit lane, so there's no worries about that. Falcon has got a 3-second penalty. I was gonna
Look at
mention Madhav,
Abhishek.
oh, who's that? Is that Sume? He's having to stack. Is Sume having to stack there? For Abhi's car. Sume's had to stack for no obvious reason.
God.
You have to love this game. You have to love this game. This is a quality product which year on year we pay $70 for. Well done, Codemasters, well done, EA. I'm sorry for that. That's too passionate. I'm sorry for that.
My God.
Oh, that's
EA.
ridiculous. Come on. That is so annoying. It's got to be so frustrating as Rahul loses the rear end there. As what's happened there? Did Rahul lose the rear end, or what's going on there? A few interesting series of events have culminated with Ethan still emerging in the lead of the race. There's a prolonged yellow flag. So I was gonna mention Ethan, Sumer, and Rahul did a 2-lap overcut on Vifix, and they've still come out right with him. So did they just have that much to extract from those medium tires that they had bolted on?
Yeah, I think they did, but look at VFX. He's right behind Ethan. I think Suraj still now within an earshot of Sumer because of that horrible pit stop for the
Yep.
McLaren. So
Suraj needs to push a little bit there. This is the moment where he really needs to push. Quick Killer's close, but he's not close enough to trouble him at the moment. So I think it's in Suraj's best interest to close up to Sumer. But I think Sumer himself is closing up to Baz, who he seems to be struggling a little bit. I think there may be some minuscule wing damage for the Haas driver.
I think
it's-
he probably does have done damage, not sure. As Rahul gets back up into P3,
And
overtaking
gets back to
Caesar,
P1.
who's the only car who has not
Shah.
pitted yet.
Shah as well, so is Abdul. And Sumer gets
Well, I
past
see
Baz.
them on. Yeah, Shah and Abdul as well. My bad. They're on those hard tires. They started on the hards. So Caesar losing time, hand over fist, probably just waiting for a safety car. And I think, oh, you got a feel for Sumer. 5.5 seconds behind Caesar. That has royally screwed his race over.
It's just rendered as speechless. That is ridiculous. I was wondering who that McLaren was who was stopped in the pit lane, because I see that There's nobody else in the race.
It's really unfortunate that we decided to fit on the lap where Sumer wanted to box.
I
But
don't,
of course, you don't time these things, and
I don't understand though, Malav, why was his car stopped in the pits? Because usually they drive out. So why was it stopped stationary in the pit box? That's a little odd.
yeah,
I don't think we should question these things. This is brilliant game design.
yeah, I'm sure there was a very good reason for it.
Definitely so.
As
Never anything wrong with these games. That's why none of us have played them really. Ethan into the lead, Sumer with the fastest lap. He is a man on a mission. He's a man possessed right now, and he wants to get back up to this track. Oh, apparently Abi had a 10-second penalty. Says Sidney. That may have been the case, but then if the car is retired, why is he serving a penalty? So it's some rather odd thing to happen. Why would Shah with a penalty as well? I hope there's no Alpine that needs to make a pit stop any
yeah,
moment soon.
please Abhishek, don't pit. Please
Chill,
don't
Abhishek.
pit.
Chill for a bit, yeah. Where is the lap? It's P8.
Yeah. By the way, now Suraj is probably still losing time to Baz.
Yes, he's lost a lot of time.
Yeah, Baz is in DRS of Sumer, and I think. Oh, there's a yellow flag.
That's Aston Martin of kick. Is that? I think it's Sonic Hawk. Yeah, that's Sonic Hawk. He's had a moment there. Shah and Mosquito are battling for P14. That's.
Yeah, Shah just pitted when he got that 10-second penalty, but. Yeah, I think Rahul, I'm not sure.
I think he's just fallen outside DRS range. So that
I don't know how that happened, because if I remember correctly, when he came out
had
of
a
the
little
pits,
snap, he lost the rear end while trying to follow. I believe it was Caesar. So Caesar has actually boxed right now. So I think Rahul may have been affected by the dirty air or the low tire temperatures exiting the pit lane. So that may have caused him some troubles. Sumer is 5.6 behind Rahul. So let's see if we can catch up to Rahul, because Rahul himself does not have any DRS. Baz has DRS, but he is not able to stage a move on Sumer at the moment. Sorry. Quick Killer, he's right behind Suraj, who's lost a place to Abhishek. So Suraj, I don't think he's rather comfortable on these hard tires. He may be wishing for a safety car sometime soon. But I think
a lot of these drivers would be wishing for a safety car.
Noobshan has picked up a penalty. He is outside the points at the moment, but it's still rather troublesome for him to do that himself.
Right, so I think the gap which I want to focus on in the next few laps is between Rahul and Sumer, because Sumer seems to be catching up as Rahul gets a 3 seconds. So now I think the fatigue of concentration probably kicking in, and the drivers are making a few more mistakes than we. And Noah is here. Noah, since you're here, I think we'll get a safety car now. Noah loves safety cars, by the way. So Sumer just flexing his pace now in free air.
What about Suraj? Can Suraj go for a move on Abhishek? He is closing at a rate of knots. Will he go for a move down the inside before we reach turn 1? He will. And they're going to go side by side, but I think that is move completed for Suraj. It's a matter of whether he can stay there over the next, 12 laps? 12 laps. That's very kind words for you, Malum, by Nova, left by Nova. So you're going to have a look at that sometimes.
Yeah, no one likes to hear the truth, but yeah, my hypothesis of Sumer catching up to Rahul hasn't really worked out, because he hasn't really made any inroads to Rahul's gap.
They're rather matched on pace at the moment.
Yeah, pretty well matched. None of them in DRS.
Caesar with a penalty. So back to back.
Oh, so many drivers with a penalty.
Lot of drivers are picking up penalties. This could really alter the final standings of the race.
Yeah, and this is where I've usually seen Noobshan to be quite disciplined. And he picks up a few places because of time penalties. Imagine he's in P11 right now. He could have gotten some points because people in front have penalties now. That's not the case as we speak, but with still 11 more laps to go, a lot could happen. and
Definitely.
especially if there's a safety car. I think you never know.
Sumer,
As Ethan, I think, is going for a move, and he has
Sumer
completed
has
his move.
caught up a little bit to I am Rahul, so
Yeah, four
realistically he
five
needs to be
tenths.
within 3 seconds of Rahul. That's all he needs to do, but I don't think he's going to settle for that. Baz, I think he's dragging Baz along, so that's going to be an additional problem for Rahul if they catch up actually. It's not a when, it's more of an if, because he's showing some great pace, Rahul. So despite the 3
Yeah,
sec, he actually may not be in the worst position. Baz picks up and oh my,
yeah.
fantastic!
Baz loves this track, I'm sure, for various reasons, and
Yes.
now he has fallen out of DRS as well. So, not a happy last
Baz
few
may have just been
corners.
pushing a little too much there, and that may have just distracted him a little bit. Now it's just a matter of whether Sumer can gain 1.7 odd seconds over the next 11 laps. This and the
I
next one.
think he seems to be doing that. He seems to be in good rhythm,
He is gaining a
and
tenth every lap,
again,
I
if
think.
this beautiful game is to be believed, this is the fastest first sector he has
For
put in so
Sumer.
far. Sorry, fastest second sector has put in so far. Why do I get the feeling he might be on for a fastest lap here? He's using his battery to some effect,
He
and
doesn't.
well, it's not the fastest lap,
He's actually slow
but
by almost 2 tenths.
yeah,
What's
to
the
his
fastest
personal
lap? He
best.
does. He has the fastest lap by a significant amount, actually, Madhav. So he has a 124.1. The others have a 124.4, 6, and 5. So he is comfortably ahead in terms of the fastest lap. He has no threat behind. He is closing up to the guy in front.
I think Nufshan and Sonic Hawk are in a battle. Yeah, Nufshan just getting ahead before the braking zone begins. That's a
That
standard
little mistake for Sonic is
overtake.
going to cost him deeply. And I think it's going to be the same case for Noobshan. He's now 10 seconds behind Falcon. Can he close up by the end of the race?
I mean, that's more than a second a lap. That's asking a bit too much from Nufshan. Falcon is no slouch.
Yes,
So,
indeed. I
so
think
I think
that's
that's a bit difficult to achieve, but at least
never say never.
Nufshan is going to get 1 point for all his troubles tonight. I
Yep.
think that start really did not help. I mean, the incident at the start, I mean. So,
And crucially, Malav, we've not seen a single safety car in this race. That's rather impressive. I would have expected a safety car at some point during this race. I hope I've not
and
done something there. Yeah.
yeah, here goes Ethan, and he has retaken the lead of the race. So yeah, on safety cars, yeah, as I said, this track has large runoff areas. So while barring the exception of that one incident by the driver who's in P5 right now, a couple of seasons back, you really don't see a lot of incidents. It's a wide track, and you can go side by side, and so it's difficult to actually.
We have a yellow
Oh,
flag
there's
just as we
yellow
said
flag. I
that.
said that.
Sonic Hawk, he's had a
Sonic Hawk.
spin, so that's not a safety car worthy incident at the moment, and he carries on. He's in P12 now. So, he's getting close to safety car, Madhav, but you're not getting a safety car or a VSC. So,
I think Sonic Hawk just teased us with that.
yeah,
Had he made contact with the pit wall, that could have been a safety car.
debris on track, yeah, that may have been grounds to bring out a safety car. But the thing is, Madhav, I asked you a question. If there's a safety
Yeah.
car within the next, say, 2-3 laps, do you pit for softs? Will they have enough life to go to the end of the race on pace?
I think people would pit on softs if there's a safety car. Unless it's the only last couple of laps, then you really don't have time to make all those positions you might lose. So I think yes, if there's a safety car in the next couple of laps, I expect the drivers to put on a set of soft tires and then just absolutely go crazy. So I would very much like to see that, and maybe Shah, who's down in P14, or Deadly Mosquito Abdul, one of those drivers, could just manufacture a spin out of nowhere, lose their front wing, and
Many things could
spray some
happen.
debris on the track. And
Many things could happen. So there are other drivers who are close together as well. So I see Suraj has not been able to get back past Abhishek on this occasion.
the thing is, he's gonna get this position. The problem with Suraj is, I mean, not the problem, but he doesn't have a penalty right now.
Oh,
and Abhishek just picked up another 3 seconds. So he's definitely going to be ahead of Abhishek. He would want to get ahead of Basil as well. So he's kind of losing time right now
Honda
behind
just
Abhishek.
quitted.
So I think that's where he might be restricted in terms of scoring points tonight.
Yeah, I think that is the case. So Nopshan has no threat for the moment from behind. He is scoring 1 point.
And
Rahul seems to be scoring 15, and Suraj seems to be scoring 6 at the present rate.
yeah, and I think Rahul has kind of caught up to the
He has
top
caught
two.
up. The thing is,
Uh,
he's being aided by the fact that these two are battling so hard into turn one every single lap. He just keeps swapping places, so he's not really gaining time on the straights. I think it's the corners where he's able to pull out a very significant gap. Sorry, reduce the gap. These two. Suraj and Abhishek battling away. Quick killer also involved in this. Quick killer going down the inside. Abhishek losing 2 places. Will Suraj go for the offensive on Quick Killer? No, Quick Killer does not have a penalty either. There's a yellow flag for a Ferrari. Is that Deadly Mosquito, who's slowed for a
that
prolonged
is
amount of
deadly.
time? There's another yellow
And
flag in the sector that these guys are approaching. So I hope there's no illegal overtakes or such that have occurred accidentally. As Abhishek has lost 2 seconds to Suraj and Quick Killer. That may have
I think
when he was
Abhishek's
caught up.
probably made a
Yeah,
mistake somewhere and he's fallen off by quite a
that's
margin. So it's
likely the case there.
only Suraj and Quick Killer. Now Sumer has really caught up a little bit and again the gap. So it
It's
is going to
plateaued.
be very close
Quick Killer with a
between
penalty.
Rahul. Yeah, Quick Killer getting a penalty as
So
well. So
I think the pace maybe has plateaued for Sumay, has it? Because he's
yeah,
not
it
gaining
could
time,
very
he's
well be
not
that.
losing time. I think he's
Yeah, it
just
could very well
consistent.
be. But I think what Rahul might be just looking for is just to latch on to Ethan.
Yeah.
If it does that, he starts getting DRS, and that puts him in a very comfortable position versus Sumer. He'll still finish
Indeed.
P3, but it makes life much easier for the Mercedes.
Suraj going for the move on Quick Killer. That will be P6. I think in any case for Suraj, because these guys ahead of him have penalties. Now the guy behind him is. So it's still a loss of what is it? 7 points to Rahul that Suraj has at the present moment in time. Quick Killer may still go for the offensive, but I don't think it's really gonna matter here because he has a penalty looming over his head. Lap 24 of 29. Vifix and Ethan still going at it. Rahul is slowly but steadily catching up. He is doing exactly what he needs to do at this point in time, which is he's using the battery, as you can see there. He's trying to push to get close to these guys and then just get within DRS and stay that way till the end of the race. Will he be able
And
to
look
do
at
so?
the gap, 3.7 seconds. So maybe Sumer has picked up
Picked up
some
the
of the
pace as
pace
well,
as
yeah.
well. And Rahul is very close, is tantalizingly close to that DRS window, 1 second window to the top two, and is trying to
Thing is, he
get
also
into that.
needs to ensure that Sumer doesn't overtake him because of the penalty.
Look at Sumer, another
Just with
fastest
another
lap.
warning, a penalty, sorry. Sumer is going at it, so maybe my statement was very much untrue. Sumer has a lot more pace and reserve that we can see on our screens right now. Over the next 5 laps, we should see Sumer maybe close up to, or maybe even get ahead of Rahul, as we see Quick Killer battling with Suraj. He's lost the place in the series, driver, and now I think this is just gonna happen. They're gonna keep swapping places over the course of the next few laps, much like what Ethan and Vivek are doing. This has allowed Abhishek to catch up to them once
Yeah, it
again.
has allowed Abhishek to catch up, and it has kind of prevented Suraj from having any kind of hopes to get P5 here. Look at the gap to Baz. But
Nope, no chance.
I'll just quickly check if Baz has a 3 second or 6. It's a 3 second for Baz, so
3 seconds. Yeah. So I think the only driver with multiple penalties, Malav, would be the Alpine of Aprilia and Sonic Hawk, but he's outside the points. So everybody else has a 3 second penalty. Abhishek has a 9 second penalty that will demote him behind Falcon at the present rate of time. seconds. Let's have a look at the top two. Once again, Vivek's going for the move on Ethan. So, Madhav, it's going to be the end of lap 28, I think, which is going to determine who is going to have the race win between these two.
Yeah, so
That's where they
now
want to
the
be.
math, yeah, now they'll be counting back from 29, and they would want to be the car who's chasing P1 when lap
Okay.
29 begins.
Yeah, the deer.
Uh, by the way, Sumer is really picking up the pace, 3.3 behind
3.2,
Rahul,
actually. Yeah.
and 3.2 rather, and Rahul has not caught enough to
He
get
wasn't able to
DRS
get
out
really
front
close
to
to
him.
them. So Rahul is now only safe by 2 tenths. That is not the buffer he wants. He wants a larger buffer between himself and Sumer. Otherwise, he is going to lose the podium position. And Shah with another warning. So I think Malav, we've reached the stage of the race where we cannot have another safety car, even if somebody crashes out at this point in time. So I
Yeah,
think
I
that is
think
the case. It's
we're
a
going to have,
straight fight to the end.
yeah, it is going to be green flag racing until the checkered flag, and I'm on board with Somer. He is locked in, chips. He's hitting every apex and is getting those exits right as he has a
Look at it, that is ridiculous.
oversteer.
He's with just over 3 seconds behind. He's actually now within 3 seconds. No, he's not. He's losing a little bit time on the
Yeah,
straights.
pretty much more or less. He has 3 laps
Malav,
to do that.
just to point out,
So
Ethan did not make the move on Vipix. I think he was close enough. I think he opted against it. I was going to mention this. Do you think these two are going to play DRS chicken in the final few laps?
yeah,
I think Vipix
yes.
definitely will want to. Will Ethan oblige? Suraj and Quick
I
Killer
think you
once
have
again.
to. DRS
Oh,
is just so powerful on this game, and probably in real life as well,
it
that
is.
you can't not play DRS ticket. If you want to win, you gotta use all the tools at your disposal. DRS ticket. Look at the pace at which they're driving. I think they're driving at 80% pace now. I think they've
Yep.
started preparing for it already, or
I think
maybe
they just being a bit lax here. They just want to let the other guy know that I am not gonna give up easily. That's just what they're trying to convey to each other right now. Ethan's within DRS range, but let's have a look at these two for a change. These two, let's actually focus on these two for a change. Ethan's fallen back. Okay, has Vivek's pulled off something here because he's pulled out the 7/10 gap. It was almost 8/10 for a moment.
but look at that evaporate now on the backs on the front.
So we
main
should
straight.
really be looking at the battery percentage difference between these two. I'm not going to read out the exact values. It's very visible on the steering wheel, but I'm not going to read them out. Ethan is a little more comfortable at the moment. All he needs to do
Going for the move. It's going for the move.
is it the right decision, Malav? He is putting himself in jeopardy here because he is going to give Vivek the all-important DRS down the main straight, which is exactly what Vivek would have wanted. I think Ethan believes he has the pace to pull out enough of a gap in the corners, which he actually has done here. That's a very good exit there. He's gained 3/10 with just that one, just the one single corner there. This is going to be very critical because if he manages to pull out enough of a gap to Vivek, even if say the gap is, I say 8/10, I don't think Vivek may be able to go for the move there.
Yeah, so
Pull out the
VFX
gap, yeah. Ethan needs to absolutely nail this next section of corners in order to stay ahead. He has a little more battery in reserve, but will it be enough, Malav? We are about to start the final lap of the race.
I think VFX still has an upper hand in this battle because the gap is less than 5/10 as they approach the apex of the final corner. There's a yellow flag as I think that's Shah, but we'll focus
With
on
the
this
fastest
one
lap.
as VFX depleting his battery, and now Ethan will move to cover him off, but to no avail. VFX takes the lead on the final lap.
But I don't think it's over yet, Malav. These two have been showing some great pace. Ethan has been very feisty. They have this little reserves of battery left in their tanks. Ethan may go for an audacious dive somewhere if he sees an opportunity left open by Vipix. Maybe the corner that's coming up here. I don't think he's got the best exit here. Will he go for a move? I think he may attempt it. A little rear lock there for Ethan, but I don't think that's going to be very beneficial. Vipix is still ahead. I think he's teasing Ethan. There's a little lift there, I think, by Vipix on that corner approaching the turn. But there you go.
Here he goes. Here he goes.
This may be a move incoming. Maybe down the inside, he's gonna go for a move. He's gonna go for it, and he spun. He's been. He's had a spin there. I'm sorry for that. Ethan, was that a very risky move? Was that an audacious move there? In any case, that has left him in P3. He is not going to be able to battle Vifix to the line. Vifix will take the checkered flag and win the race, but the matter here remains, will Rahul finish on the podium? Will he get those 15 points, or will he get
very close?
12?
Sumer might just get DRS from Ethan, or rather,
it's too close right now, Malav. Let's have a look.
Close.
Oh, it's P3. It's P3 for Rahul by 0.2 of a second, just enough. What about
it's very close
for the back?
All that. V6 wins the race, and I think Suraj will finish P6.
That a very quiet race. A yellow flag once again for somebody. I think Suraj will finish in P6 without any issue whatsoever. Yep, that's P6. Kept it clean. Noopshan, he's had a it's been a disaster, I'll say. 1 point from the race is not what he would have wanted in any case. That's a very, and he gets another penalty. It won't matter. He's got a 27-second buffer to the car behind. But that's a very unfortunate end of the Qatar Grand Prix for Noopshan. Abdul is a long way back. So Malav, 29 laps, Vifix emerges victorious.
Yeah, I think Ethan, I'm not sure why he went for the move on the penultimate lap.
That was a bit
but it was a bit strange. I think he was trying to catch Vifix by surprise, which he might have done. But Vifix, he has got pace and he might have plenty of battery left as well. So he was always going to go for an overtake on the last lap on the main straight. And yeah, that's exactly what he did. And I think the overtake attempt on the last lap in the middle sector, probably that's just a little bit of desperation and frustration. So I think he still has P2, Ethan, so he'll be happy about it. He didn't lose a position trying to do
I think he's going to hear a few comments about the last lap contact by Ethan, especially. Vifix maybe a little more. Vifix has a particular style of responding to stuff, but let's see. Nonetheless, Vifix from P2 on the grid takes the race win. Ethan finishes P2 on the track. Rahul is P3. Sumer, after a rather disastrous pit stop, he is P4. He's just 2 turns away from P3. Baz and P5, a very quiet race for him. Suraj kept it clean, finishes P6, loses the place from where he started, however. Quick Killers P7, Falcons P8, Abhishek's P9, and Noopshan with the single point in P10. Outside the top 10, we have Abdul, Sonic, Caesar, who got the fastest lap right at the end there, and Mosquito and Shah rounding off the finishers. Abhi did not finish and also gave us a rather interesting thing to notice in the pit lane. But nonetheless, that is the end of the Qatar Grand Prix. The sale, we will have one final go in Abu Dhabi. Is that the season finale, or am I mixing it with real life F1?
Yeah, that is the last race next week in Abu Dhabi, and I think it should be a good finale, despite Mercedes kind of having the upper hand, both of them. Of course, Rahul gaining 14 points on Noopshan tonight. That's a lot of points which Rahul had, and plenty of points on his teammate as well. So he's looking good. He's been the driver to watch for the season with the most wins and a couple of poles as well. So I think it's his championship to lose going into the last race.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting season finale. We have Ethan, Rahul and Vifix added to the party. We should have them join in a moment. So in terms of the championship, Madhav, now where will that leave them? Rahul has got 15 at the moment. Suraj has 8 and Noopshan has 1.
Yeah, so 7 points to his teammate Suraj and then 14 more to Noopshan. So as long as Rahul finishes P2, no matter where Suraj finishes, Rahul will take the championship. Unless Suraj gets P1 with the fastest lap, then that would mean he will win the championship by 1 point. But I think that's asking for a bit too much in terms of IRL cinema when it comes to championship. I think Ethan is here, Rahul is here as well, so Chips, we might want to
I
get
think we
started with
will
our
get
podium
started with
interviews.
that. But Madhav, I'll just say that never discount a late safety car at Abu Dhabi. Never ever do that.
Yeah, or a stricken Williams
Yep.
who will cause the safety car. So
Which
yeah,
Williams though, Malum? We have one Williams usually racing with us, so I
yeah.
hope for
It
his
probably
sake
will
it's
be the
not
Williams
Nukshan.
who's
Yeah.
probably will be the Williams who wants to middle with the championship as it stands.
But nonetheless, I think we have Rahul with us. Hey Rahul.
Hey guys,
Hey. So Rahul is P3 at the end. 2 tenths separated yourself and Sumer at the end. How was your race tonight?
I would go as far as to say that this is probably the best league race I've ever done in my life. Yes, I did make a mistake, that 3 second time penalty, but otherwise it was on point. I was keeping up with the guys in front. Sure, they were battling, whatever, we can discount that, but I was keeping up. And I think Sume got unlucky with this pit stop, and yeah, it was just pressure towards the end. Each and every lap he was gaining. And there was a point where he was within 3 seconds. I don't know how in the end I just managed to get that 3 seconds on him and yeah, get the podium. So yeah, I'll take that.
So you had really good pace on the mediums. Were the hards just not what you wanted? And I just want to ask you actually, did you have a moment after exited the pits on cold tires?
Yeah, yeah.
You did, right?
I
Yeah.
think the pace was similar both on mediums and hards. I don't think my hard pace was weak. It was just that when I got out of the pits, I didn't want to be out of Ethan's DRS. So I pushed too hard and I lost the rear. Almost spun. So that is where I lost the time to Ethan and VFX up front. Otherwise, I would have been up there.
You saw how crucial DRS was tonight, so I think
Yeah.
you can be very proud of those final 2 laps. It looked like Sumaya would get you, but you were just ahead at the end. So well done.
Thank you. Thank you, Chips.
Malak, would you like to ask anything to Rahul? Hello, what's to Maluk?
Oh,
I think he's gone for a
what a
very
co-commentator.
important mission there, Maluk. So nonetheless, when he comes back, we'll ask him again. But well done, Rahul. Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll now move on to URL Ethan. Are you there, Ethan?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, that sigh says everything. I don't think we need to hear a lot more, but we still want to hear from you because you're a little evil here. Ethan, it's P2 at the end. Obviously, we want to talk about that last lap, but just disregarding that, how was the. While we'll get to that, but how was the rest of the race?
I would say the rest of the race was good. Pace was there. The first stint, I just stuck behind 2 man V6, let them do their own thing, let me do my own thing. Tires were overheating a bit, so I just laid back. And Rahul was in my DRS, but he didn't really go up for a move, so wasn't too worried about that. VFX boxed, and then I decided to stay out for another lap or two because I knew that the medium still had the grip. And coming out, I came out ahead of him, and I think the second stint was good as well. I mean, me and VFX were trading positions. Unlucky for Suma, he got held up by Abhi's retired car.
Yeah.
But I definitely think with his pace, I saw him setting fastest laps, and it was like 6 tenths faster than my laps. I was like, wow, he would have been flying if he was up there. So yeah, anyways, really unlucky for him. I'm Rahul too, would have been there if it wasn't for any other issue. But yeah, it was a good race. And then the last lap, I had excess ERS, and I saw people struggling a lot on tires. I was literally on his gearbox. I decided to send one down the inside. I mean, there was a moment where I thought about Rahul's 3 seconds, but regardless of his penalty, I would have sent it either way. I felt like space could have been left there because he took the apex as it was. But anyways, that's for me to check after the race. I mean, after a while when I relax.
Yeah, I'm sure emotions will be running high right now, but it's been a very, very good race, Ethan. I think you can be happy with this. Even though it's a P2 for the time being, with whatever's the eventual outcome. I think you can still be happy with a good performance. And I wanna just ask the 2 lap overcut. Just what inspired you to do 2 laps as opposed to just the 1 lap?
I noticed Reflex was struggling on his mediums because he was sliding around, and I was like, I'm stuck behind Suman Reflex. Might as well try an overcut. If it doesn't work out, I'll be coming out behind them either way. But I think I have the pace to just come back into the DRS. I was like, might as well try something new. Let's see what happens. And the cold tires don't really affect the outlap, so I wasn't too sure about it. But in the end, it worked out. So I was pretty happy about it.
Well, congratulations. That was one of the other highlights of the race. That was really impressive to see. So well done. Congrats. And we actually move on to our race winner. Pifix.
You.
P1, you've become used to this, rather used to this. But I think today it was a battle right till the end. How was your race tonight? How was it in the cockpit?
Honestly, pretty chill because I had a good quali for the first time since I guess Kota. Didn't when I was starting on the front row, a lot of the work is done at that point because to overtake these guys is more difficult than to keep up with them when you can dictate the pace. And so I was just really in a. The thing with this track is that you can't really push too hard, otherwise your tires will overheat so much that they just fall out of the operating window, and so you have to like push at your like 80 to 85%. Also, you can't afford to push too much because if you don't break from someone's DRS and your ERS is drained, then you're pretty much screwed. So, yeah, it was just a battle of race management. Only started pushing like towards the end, those last 4 or 5 laps. I tried breaking a second from Ethan, but then I think on lap 28, entering it, I made a lot of mistakes. So I was like, let's just let him through on this one and then I can come back with the DRS. But he was really fast on that lap, so I almost didn't get him. And then lap 29, once I made the move, that's pretty much the only overtaking zone on this entire track. And I knew he'd have to try something. That turn, I wasn't expecting it. I thought he'd do it at the hairpin or at the last corner, because that corner it naturally outwashes. So anyway, he would have cut into my line even if he hadn't made the corner, or he would have forced me wide. So I don't know. I don't know what was up with that. I didn't even feel any contact, by the way, on my screen. I had to check behind to see that he crashed. So Cody's cheers. Aside from that, pretty normal race. Happy with a good quali for once. And Sumer, commiserations, because he was really pushing it. I think that's what happens when you push like 100% when you are in clear air. But of course, Ethan's so fast that I can't. He never afforded me that chance to go into the clear air.
It was lovely watching. It was a spirited battle. And you all were really working together to keep, in a way, inadvertently working together to keep Rahul at bay. So, well done. Just one last question. I don't believe Malav will come back. So,
Brilliant.
You had a 2-lap undercut on these guys, yet you emerged right with them. So, were the hards a little difficult to get up to temperature? Did you have traffic, or what was the issue?
No, I mean the hards were up to temperature by like turn 4. It was just, I thought I was losing out a bit in the medium tire stint, and Ethan had gained like 7 tenths on me, and Sumer was like a tenth behind me. So I was like, I don't want to be third here because there's no point in that. I might as well just pit. But then I came out into some traffic, and probably prevented me from setting the fastest lap. Honestly, but I saw that somebody at the end went on soft, so it's fine. But traffic, especially through the middle sector, it was costing me like 6-7 tenths. I think normally I would have come out like a second and a half ahead. But I think it would have ended up with me and Ethan battling at the end anyway, considering he would have had room to push at that point.
But I think despite that, it's a good race by you, good pace, and thanks for the battles, Ethan and Felix. That was so much fun. And also commiserations to Sumer, of course. Those were some great battles in the first half of the race.
Sergio Perez is out in SQ1, by the way.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, I've just noticed that. Yes, he is. So, wow. Wow. Rather upsetting for him, and a few more cars getting out in SQ1 as well. I think we will all switch our focus to that. Thank you,
Yep.
drivers. Thank you to all those who came to the live chat. Thank you, Marlon, for joining me in the co-coms. We shall be back at Abu Dhabi next week for the season finale.
Yep.
7 points, I think, presently separate Rahul and Suraj. And not Ethan, sorry. Nukshan's a bit further back. But I think if there's
We don't
something
have
we
to
know
talk
from Abu
about
Dhabi, yeah, is that anything could happen.
Yeah.
Safety cars are. It's not easy to get a safety car there, so let's wait and watch until next week. Thank you for joining us for the Qatar Grand Prix. We should see you next week. Until then, thank you. Take